Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. In this video I'll be taking you through how to use Standox spectrophotometer for colour matching. We usually just call it the spectro for short. So the first step is to get the panel that you're colour matching to really nice and polished up. I've found this can be the key to getting good results and poor results. Make sure you use a fine polishing compound. You don't want to use a cutter, you want to be using an actual polish. So these cars that I'm colour matching, the paintwork's in pretty good condition, so they're just going to need a quick go over by hand. But if the panel was faded, then I would actually go and grab the buff and get a good gloss to it. So this is a spectro. If you look through those holes there, you can actually, it's got three cameras inside there, and it takes a photo of the face, the flip and the flop on the colours. So those 2 points that I was pointing at before are little sensors, and if they're not touching the panel properly, well then you won't be able to take your reading because it's not flush with the panel. So go through your settings, click read, and then you hold it onto the panel, and you repeat this 3 times. So you place it down, click read, and then lift it back up, so those sensors know that it's moved into a different spot. And you take 3 readings there, and then you can enter the name in if you like, or you can just give it the default number that it gives it, which will just be the next number in the line, which is all I usually do, just give it the next number. So we'll then come over to our next car. So I'm doing 3 colours for you in this video. This is a blue Mazda. So usually when I'm colour matching using the spectro, I don't even bother looking for the paint codes. I just search the colour by the manufacturer. I've found, although you can just do a wild search and not actually type the manufacturer in, I've found you'll get better results, especially with metallics, if you type the manufacturer in, because sometimes if you do a wild search, the spectro might think that there's a better colour than, say, this Volvo colour for instance, but it'll have the wrong metallics in it and it'll be worse. So you're better off sticking to the manufacturers with metallics. Yet if I was using a solid colour, I would just do a wild search, and because you're not going to get the wrong metallics in that colour and the wrong pills. So back onto our computer now, we've plugged it back in, and then we've clicked on Genius tab up the top there, and here I go, just entering the manufacturer. You can give it more information if you don't think that it's come up with the right colour. You can put the paint code in, and you can put some more information in there if you wish, but most of the time it's not necessary. And here we go, it's linking up and it's scanning through the colours that it thinks that it's going to be. It takes a couple of seconds to load up sometimes, and once we get in, it will give us a preview of the colour for starters. So the one on the left is our car, and the one on the right is what they've got on their database. You can also go and have a look at the colour information, the formula, and some other info there. So next up, I like to use the colour comparison here on the right. You can see I click on that, it takes a second to load that window up, and it just gives you a bit more of a look at it. So you can play around with the settings here. That's shaded effect colours. As we click on this one, that's going to show you, because the spectrophotometer will actually shade colours for you. It will look at your colour and what it's got, and it will add and remove a couple of tinters to make it better. So as you can see, we can give it a look at how it's going to look like when it's blended, when it's got a gap, when it doesn't have a gap, and you can just have a good play around with these settings. I find them helpful. I don't usually use the blend one itself, but I like to have a look at it with the gap and without the gap, and it's a handy little thing, the spectro, if you know how to use it correctly. Some people struggle with it, and I found the main thing is actually just getting the panel nice and glossy. If you don't do that, then it'll throw the spectro out, because if it's got a milky haze over the panel, then it's going to add a lot more white into it. So if you're doing a black or something like that, and sometimes it actually helps to leave a touch of white out. So here's a couple of the other colours that we took the readings of, and you know, it looks quite good on those photos. I've then gone and mixed them up, sprayed the colours out. This one to me was a touch dark, so I added a touch of the effect white. This one was pretty good, so I just painted straight over this one. I'm not going to go into the actual colour matching side of things. This is more just how to use the spectro. This one was a touch dark too. I just added a little bit more of the metallic and a bit of the effect additive. And this one here, the Volvo, that was perfect straight after mixing it up. I didn't have to play around with it. So this is the Mazda. As you can see, we've actually improved the colour because the front bumper bar is further out than the rear bumper, which is what we painted. So that's always a good result. Next up, we've got this Mazda. The rear bar on that looks quite good too. Again, it's an improvement from the front bumper. This is a Volvo, and that's perfect too. We didn't even have to do any colour matching on this one. So it's a bit of a look at the Standox Spectro for you. I've got a couple of links to a couple of the spray jobs that I've done at the end here. Check them out. I've got the Starter Jet and the NS Water. Thanks again for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.